Alright YouTube, so today's going to be kind of a little bit of a different video format. We're going to be talking about the CP4 fuel pump, the problems, and how to prolong the life of your pump. The Ram trucks are actually using a CP 4.2 fuel pump. The previous generation GM trucks, so before the L5P, we're using a CP4, and I think the Ford products are using a CP4 as well. Now the problem is these pumps are being ran with not high quality fuel, is what the dealers are saying. So there's a couple things you can do to remedy this. Obviously, filling up at high volume diesel stations is going to help. So the fuel that you're putting in there from the high volume diesel stations is always some of the newest fuel out there. If you go to a station that doesn't do high volume, the fuel in their tanks can be sitting for a while. Water and contaminants can get into it. So filling up at high volume stations is going to help. If you're filling up at the place with the cheapest price, you're probably going to end up getting burned in the end. I know for me, I fill up at the same place that all the fire trucks, pretty much all the big diesels fill up, all the trucks fill up, because they're getting 3 to 4 trucks of diesel a week. Now, some places may be cheaper. You may save 20 to even 50 cents a gallon on fuel, but that fuel may have sat in those tanks for weeks on end. I also run fuel additives. So when I first got the truck, I was running a product called Hot Shot Secret LX4. And it's lubricity extreme. It pretty much helps the fuel have better lubricity properties, so that way the fuel pump doesn't fail. I have changed to Hot Shot Secret EDT, which stands for Everyday Diesel Treatment. And the reasoning behind that was because the EDT does have LX4 in it, as well as other positive diesel fuel properties. And I believe it was slightly cheaper. In buying it the way I've been buying it, it's kind of like those little oil containers where you squeeze the bottle and then the reservoir fills up with however much product you want. I think it's like 1 ounce for every 25 gallons of diesel, or 2 ounces if you want like the performance version. It increases cetane, does, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. I will be posting links in the video description below on where to get those products. So high volume diesel stations paired with the diesel additives, as well as filling up at proper intervals. There's a YouTuber out there, I think it's PD Diesel. I mean, I subscribe to a lot of these, you know, diesel truck guys. He was saying something about filling up at no less than half a tank. Now, I don't do enough driving to where that would be consistent enough. So for me, I would say around, once you have a quarter tank left, and his reasoning behind that is the more full the tank is, the less likelihood your pump is going to draw just straight air. Once the diesel's sloshing around in the tank and it gets low enough, there's a chance that there may be some air pockets in the line that's going to the fuel pump, and that can damage the fuel pump. So he says about half a tank. I'd say about a quarter of a tank, especially if you don't do nearly as much driving. There's just one other pretty expensive addition you can do, is adding an aftermarket lift pump. You can either go with FAS or AirDog. Personally, I would recommend FAS. They have a new next generation fuel pump out that's very quiet, very efficient. For the Cummins guys out there, the 5th gens, it's 165 gallons per hour. And if you're adding up to 600 horsepower, I believe the 165 GPH is good. if you're planning on doing less than 165 horsepower, or 600 horsepower, I should say, the 165 GPH will still work for you. You can get a higher rated pump and it won't overfuel. So the FAS, I'll put a link down in the description too on where you can get that one as well. I'm gonna hold off on getting that just until S&B Tanks releases their, what is it, 55 gallon or 52 gallon replacement for the mega cabs. The reason I'm going with S&B is because they have an integrated draw port at the bottom of the tank. I think it's the lowest part of the tank, and it's like a sump, but it's not. So you don't have to worry about drilling into your brand new tank to get a sump. This one just draws from the lowest portion of the tank, and then it makes the return line very easy as well. So with the FAS, it's filtering out all the contaminants, all the water, all the nasty crap you don't want in your fuel lines. And then once it's filtered out, the stuff that doesn't go to the engine is actually being returned to the tank via a return line. So eventually, your fuel is gonna always be filtered properly because some of the fuel that's in the tank has already been filtered. You can also, with the FAS, get the Caterpillar aftermarket high efficiency, high volume fuel tank or filters as well. One of the tanks is water, and the other tank I think is fuel. And then once they're full, you just pitch the filters. No more having to drain or do anything like that. So there's a couple things you can do to prolong the life of the CP4.2 for the 5th gen guys. If you're really worried about it, Industrial Injection does have a conversion kit, a CP4 to CP3 conversion kit. I think it's something like 2,500 bucks or 2,800 bucks. Pretty expensive upgrade, but if you're really worried about it and don't want to do the fuel additive route and don't want to do the lift pump route, you do have the option to go to a CP3, which is always nice. Knock on wood, I only have 1,800 miles on this vehicle. I'm hoping I don't have to replace the CP4 just because you have to replace injectors and all that stuff, and I believe the warranty for that on this particular vehicle has been void, if you know what I mean. If it does come to having to replace, I'll probably just end up going the CP3 route because I don't want to put a problematic part on the truck again after it had already failed. So again, I will be putting those product links in the description below. If you do want to watch PD Diesel's take on how to prolong the life of your CP4, I will also add that in the comments below. If you liked the video, please consider a like and a share. And like always, thanks for watching and have a great day.